Hey, welcome or welcome back. Before we get started, big shout out to everyone who watched the last video. Y'all show way more love than I expected, and I'm honestly really grateful. I've got more videos coming soon, so if you have your own story or a Reddit post you want me to cover, drop it in the comments or send it to me on Discord. The link's down below. Also, quick heads up, I'm still getting over a cold, so if I sound a little different, that's why. Alright, let's get into our first story. A lot of these today are coming from Am I the A-hole? So here's our first one. Am I the a-hole for leaving my fiance after I found out he had a secret second phone he kept hidden from me for our entire 3-year relationship? So I've been with my fiance, 28 male, for 3 years. We were engaged, lived together, shared bills, all that. I genuinely thought he was my person. Things weren't perfect, but I never suspected anything shady until last week when he left his car keys on the kitchen counter. I went to grab something from the glove box and saw an old cracked phone stuffed under the seat. It turned on, so I charged it out of curiosity, thinking maybe it was his old one he forgot about, but no. It had recent messages, apps he never used, a different wallpaper, a second life. I saw convos with other women, flirty texts, meetups, late night miss you messages. Some were from a year ago. Some were just a few weeks back. I honestly felt like I couldn't breathe. We had never had trust issues, so this hit hard. When I confronted him, he froze. Then he tried to downplay it like I was overreacting. He said he just liked the attention and it never went too far. But he still lied to me for years. Hid the phone, hid himself. I packed my bag and left. He keeps texting, trying to talk things out, but I can't imagine ever trusting him again. My friends are kind of divided. Some say it's just emotional cheating and we could work through it. Others say I dodged the bullet. I loved him, but I don't think love means ignoring red flags and pretending I'm not hurt. Yeah, that's pretty rough. I mean, if he put in the effort to get a second phone, texting other females, doing all that, it is still emotional cheating, even if he didn't do anything physically. So yeah, I would say she probably did dodge a bullet, because if he hasn't done anything yet, he more than likely will, especially if he's hiding a phone under a seat in his car. Like, yeah, that sucks. Let me know what y'all think about that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for dating my ex-girlfriend's sister after she cheated on me? I, 28 male, was with my ex-girlfriend Lena. Ooh, he put her name out there? It might be a fake name. 27 female for about 3 years. We had what I thought was a solid relationship, lived together, talked about marriage, the whole deal. Around 6 months ago, I found out she was cheating on me with a coworker. I was devastated. She didn't even try to deny it. She said she felt stuck and needed something exciting. Cool. Obviously, we broke up. I moved out with no contact, tried to move on. Her family was actually really supportive of me, especially her younger sister, Kayla, 25 female, who I always got along with. She reached out to me to check up on me a few times, and over the next couple of months, we started talking more. At first, just as friends, but honestly, we clicked. She was easy to talk to, funny, kind, and she saw how hurt I was. Eventually, it turned into more. We both fought it at first because, yeah, it's complicated, but after a couple of months, we decided to give it a real shot. We've been officially dating for 3 months now, and it's been amazing. Here's where the drama starts. Lena found out last week. She went ballistic, called me a disgusting traitor, said I'm ruining their family, and told Kayla she's dead to her. Dang. Some of her friends have been messaging me saying it's beyond disrespectful and that I'm a snake. Now, from my perspective, I didn't cheat. She did. She ended the relationship. I moved on, just not in the way she expected, I guess. Kayla and I were both adults about it, and we tried to be respectful. Yeah, I mean, she did cheat on you. So, I mean, yeah, it is kind of weird to date her sister afterwards because you're still like so close to the family, but at the same time, it's like, well, she cheated, so that's crazy. I don't know. That's awkward. I'm sure like Thanksgiving has to be so freaking weird. All right, our next story. Y'all let me know what you think of that one. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my ex-wife for driving our daughter without her booster seat? Spicy. I, 35 male, share custody of my daughter, a 9-year-old, with my ex-wife. My ex has her on the weekends and drops her off with me every Sunday, and of course dropped her off with me today. My ex also has a new husband who has a 5-year-old son. When my ex dropped our daughter off today, I noticed she got out of the car from just a regular seat and wasn't in her booster seat. Turns out today my ex and our daughter thought it would be fun to stop off at the park for a while before she dropped her off with me. When the 5-year-old heard this, he wanted to come with them, and my ex and daughter agreed. My ex didn't want to go through the trouble of uninstalling the 5-year-old's car seat and putting it in her car, and her husband needed his car for errands, so he said she would just put the 5-year-old in our daughter's booster seat and let her ride with just a seatbelt, and my ex agreed to this. What? So you gonna protect one kid but not protect the other? That sounds like some deadbeat behavior. I ain't gonna lie. That's deadbeat behavior. I was so upset I asked my ex how she could be so irresponsible to let our daughter ride without her booster seat. She said she didn't think it was a big deal since it wasn't a long drive. It was just one time and that our daughter liked not being in her booster seat. Wow. I got more upset and said it was completely irresponsible to drive our daughter anywhere. This is all caps. Anywhere without her booster seat because it's for her safety, right? I kind of snapped and yelled at her for a minute because I was so shocked and angry that she would disregard our daughter's safety like that. She got defensive and said he would have been disappointed if she would have been disappointed if she told him he couldn't come with them, or it's getting confusing between the kids the way they wrote this. Basically, the 5-year-old boy would have been disappointed if he was told that he couldn't come with them, and our daughter liked not being in her booster seat. I told her it was better to disappoint one child than put another in danger, and our daughter is 9. She isn't old enough to make this decision on her own. My ex left upset and has since sent me some angry text messages, and her husband sent me one too saying I overreacted. Am I the a-hole? So when I'm hearing this, now that you're thinking about the kids' ages, right? This is a 9-year-old female, their daughter, and then there was the 5-year-old boy who was her new husband's son. So I mean, depending on how big or small a 9-year-old is, a 9-year-old girl, she may or may not need the booster seat. So it really depends on the kid. So, and of course, some 5-year-olds, if they're smaller, they still need a booster seat. But I don't know, my kid is pretty much a baby still, so he's still in his car seat. I don't even know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that one. I don't know if he's a jerk for it, but yeah, you should keep your kids safe. If that's going to be the safest option for your child, then do what's going to be the safest option, you know. On to our next one. Alright, here's another crazy one. Am I the a-hole for saying I told you so when my boyfriend got beat up by my ex? That's just a funny title in general. Like, what? I ended things with my ex a year ago, and I have been dating my boyfriend for 6 months. My ex during this time has refused to move on and basically has repeatedly sent me flirty texts until I blocked him, as well as hitting on me in person, blatantly in front of my boyfriend too. I've told him multiple times that I am not interested and that my love is for my new boyfriend, but he persisted. This has led to my boyfriend wanting to fight him for disrespecting you and our relationship, he says. I always told him that this wasn't a good idea because violence isn't the answer, but the real reason is half that, also half because I know my ex will beat him up in a fight. My ex trains in the gym a lot and also does multiple martial arts, whereas my boyfriend isn't really into fitness and is very skinny. She looking out for her man. He finally told me last week that he's going to fight my ex at a party they'll both be at this past Saturday. I begged him not to and told him bluntly that he will lose and make himself look bad. He responded saying that he's a lot bigger than my ex and he's quite tall and my ex is average height, so he'll be fine. I repeatedly warned him and he brushed it off. Lo and behold, exactly what I said happened, he ended up losing. Although he wasn't hurt too badly, aside from his ego, He came to me upset and expected sympathy, but I just felt irritated and said that I had told him exactly that this would happen, and he chose not to listen. He's angry at me for being unsupportive, but I feel like I tried to warn him. Am I the a-hole? You did warn him. Not once, not twice, but like a few times, and he still didn't listen and ended up getting beat up. So definitely not the a-hole there. That's crazy though, for your new boyfriend to get beat up by your ex. Jeez. That's crazy. I'm reading more. They're saying this is a high school thing. Okay, cool. At least these are like, full grown adults just fighting over girls. And it's like, that's so awkward to go to a party and get beat up, but it's more of a high school type of thing. So that's not too surprising. All right, on to our next one. Next one, this is from Truth Off My Chest. They call it True Off My Chest. It sounds kind of weird, but True Off My Chest. 17 years, no ring, and now he wants marriage only after I walked away. My ex-boyfriend and I were together since we were 15. It's been 17 years and he didn't propose. He's my first ever relationship, and I was a virgin when we got together. He's really all I know. He knew I wanted to get married. We had spoken about marriage from day one, yet he still hasn't asked me. I just stopped bringing it up, and I decided to put myself first. We had a conversation last year. I told him that I can't continue living like this and that marriage is important to me. He said that it's just a piece of paper. I told him to me it wasn't. We rarely ever fought and we got along really well. My issue is he talked about everything else but marriage. He wanted to buy a house with me, even talked about having kids, but won't. Sorry, it's like a typo here. But didn't make that commitment. I realized that I couldn't keep going like that, so I left, and it's been a few months since we've not been together. I left our shared apartment and moved back in with my parents. He sent a ton of long texts saying he wants me back and he wants to marry me. Now I just feel like it's a little too late. Why does it take leaving him? Getting a ring now wouldn't even feel genuine to me, and it would feel so forced. Of course I do miss him, but I also know my worth. I'm so depressed and still cry about it every day. I don't know why I'm on here writing. I think I just need to vent. Yeah, so I feel for her. That really sucks. But yeah, 17 years, no ring. Y'all been together since you were 15. I don't know if she said how old they are now, but well, shoot, 15 plus 17, shoot. But that's crazy. Honestly, it's weird to even stay with him. I feel like beyond 5 years, if you're dating someone for 2 to 5 years and marriage isn't in the picture, that's kind of crazy. Me personally, I got married to my husband after a year. Did I feel ready? Not necessarily, because I was just young, but nah, I would have never waited 17 years for a ring. That's a very long time. That's a whole marriage right there. So he honestly probably feels like, well, we've been living together this long and you're still around, so why give you a ring if you're kind of already doing all the wifey things and living with me, So 17 years is a long time, sis. I'm glad you got out of that situation. I know it hurts, especially after building up a relationship with somebody like that, but that's way too long. He doesn't value you. Next post, let me know what y'all think. This is from Confession. A guy who lived with me used to sleepwalk. One night I awoke to something awful. About 7 years ago, I let a young guy move in with me because he was struggling. He told me he has been known to sleepwalk before, so I expected something weird to happen. But nothing prepared me for what would soon happen. One night, I woke up to him turning the light on in my room, walking to the corner and pulling down his pants. What? I said his name a few times to see if he was awake, but lo and behold, didn't work. He proceeded to let his entire bladder empty out on my wall and floor. Oh my goodness. After that, he crawled right back in bed and curled up with a pillow like nothing had happened. I got him to wake up and told him what happened and to please clean up the mess that was made. He got very upset that I didn't stop him, but I know I couldn't have. But to this day, it plays rent free in my head. That is hilarious. That's hilarious, but also like, bro, what the heck? That's crazy. They put an edit in here. I can't believe the amount of people here with the same with similar experiences. This guy was 19 and non-alcoholic, but thank you for all sharing your fellow friends' drunken, stupid sleep habits. Yeah, that is insane. I got Siri freaking listening to me. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. For you to just be sleeping, somebody, your roommate come in and just pee all over your floor, like, bro, literally pissed off. On to our next one. This one's from Confession. I pretend to miss people, friends, and family members. I don't miss anyone. Please don't get me wrong. I love my family and I've been so fortunate to make great friends that I share a connection with, but I just don't miss any of them. Whenever we are apart for long periods of time, I have gone years without seeing my brother, for example, but I don't miss him at all. Of course, I make the effort of texting and reaching out because I know it makes him happy. He asked me to reach out more, but I just don't miss him. So, same goes for my friends. I would go months without seeing them, and when we see each other, they tell me that they miss me, etc. And I tell them that I also miss them, but in reality, I just didn't. Don't get me wrong, they are amazing. They are great friends. I just didn't miss them, and I don't know why. I lied to my family and friends telling them that I also miss them, but I don't. And I feel terrible for it. I'm sorry for laughing, but like that's kind of funny. You can't lie. Like we actually say it out loud. That's kind of funny. He's like, yeah, I miss y'all, but I don't. Maybe I'm just goofy, but I don't know. Maybe you're just more of a loner type, you know? I think this Redditor, they're probably just more of a loner type and not necessarily crave that affection from people. So he doesn't miss family. I don't know. In my own situation, sometimes I could be the loner type, but I still miss my family. Like I get homesick all the time and miss LA. So to each their own. I mean, he's just venting. That's confession for you. On to our next one. All right, here's our next one from relationship advice. I, female 27, messed up, and now my boyfriend 29 male is done. Any advice? I know I messed up, but I'm not sure how to feel or what to do now. My boyfriend and I had major trust issues in the past, mostly from his side. Early on, he emotionally cheated by texting other girls and was lying about it, even when confronted. He eventually fessed up. There were 2 separate occasions of this. I stayed and tried to rebuild things. We set clear boundaries, and I've been holding him to them while still trying to forgive. Recently, a guy I used to talk to, we went on a date, decided we were better as friends. He sent me a post on Twitter. It wasn't flirty, but I had the thread muted and cleared, which made it look worse. My boyfriend saw it and said I was a hypocrite. I tried to explain that I thought it was harmless at the time, but I now realize it crossed the boundary and I apologize. He believes we've been talking for a while and he told me I know where we stand now. We're even now, and even I don't regret what I did in the past now. Dang. I felt awful because he's already going through a lot outside of this, and now I feel I added more pressure, but I also feel drained. I carried so much after what he did to me, and now that I make one mistake, he's acting like we're done. Yeah, jeez. She says, just for your info, since this happened, he's broken our agreed boundaries too. Already re-downloading Snapchat, so I feel like he's done. Any advice, please? Okay, if he's like already re-downloading Snapchat and stuff, I think the relationship's just over with, because he's like, it was almost as if he was waiting for you to mess up to be able to just go back to his ways, but that's how I see it. That's kind of crazy, but like, oh shoot, she finally messed up. Let me go right back to what I was doing. Cause it's kind of like, do you even want to be in a relationship? It's kind of trippy on that. I don't know about that one. I would just leave him, cause it seems like he's more worried about Snapchat girls and all that instead of his actual girlfriend, and just waiting for you to mess up just to be like, I don't know, to make it an open relationship, pretty much. That's crazy. On to the next one. Okay, here's our next one. This is from Off My Chest. My girlfriend is 8 months pregnant and I know the baby isn't mine. She cheated. I found out through a stupid mistake. Her phone connected to my car's Bluetooth. I heard a voicemail from someone she used to date saying, I miss you and I still can't believe it's mine. Oof. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't said anything. I've been going through the motions, rubbing her back, getting her snacks, listening to her talk about baby names like nothing's wrong. I lie next to her every night, wondering if I'll even be able to love this child when it comes. Everyone keeps calling me such a great daddy already. It makes me sick. I don't feel like great anything. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I needed to say it somewhere. I'm just drowning in the secret. Ugh, that is rough. Like even hearing that on that voicemail, I know his heart just sunk. That's painful. But you gotta leave her, bro. That's crazy. 8 months pregnant, then find out that baby isn't yours. Like she's about to have the baby and everything to find out it's not yours. That's just truly heartbreaking. That's ugh, so sorry. That sucks. If y'all ever in this situation, leave. Do not get caught up with some woman and a baby that's not even yours and she cheated on you. Like, no, you need to leave that situation because, for one, you're going to end up resenting the baby. Even if you do try to stay with her, you're going to resent the baby because you know it's not yours. And you're also going to resent her. So, like, it's just not going to end well. Just leave. This one is from marriage. My wife has been in a funk since her ex reached out to her. To start, my wife and I share my regular Reddit account. I'm using an alt account because I do not want her to keep feeling guilty. Wait, why did he put it like this? He means to say he's 36, his wife is 32. She had her ex reach out to her telling her he cheated on his girlfriend and got the other girl pregnant. What the heck? Why was he telling his ex this? Okay, let's continue. They texted for a short period in which she laid into him for still being a cheater. She was angry, which I understand, but what has followed the last week has me confused. I'm confused too, bro. She brought him up multiple times a day to complain about him and vent about how he mistreated her. She has brought him up a few times while we have been together, but she never contacted or communicated with him as far as I know. I do not mind listening, and I'm happy to be an active participant in problem solving with her when she needs me. However, today she came home from work in an incredibly foul and bitter mood. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she didn't want to hurt me, but she was still thinking about her ex. Red flag. Red flag. She said all she can think about is that she wasted 7 years on this guy and how she feels like her life is one big lie. Okay. She keeps saying she keeps saying he took her 20s away and clearly never took her seriously. I've been listening, offering support, but I cannot help but be confused. Bro, I'm confused too, because why is she talking to her ex? Why are you talking to your ex? For real, and you married. Crazy. We've been together 9 years, married for 8. I do not see why this guy still holds so much value to her. Personally, I do not even think about any of my exes, nor would I care if they were continue to ruin their own lives. I guess I'm just looking for some outside perspective to help me understand. When I try to ask her why she's so upset, she gets mad and starts ranting about the same things again. If anybody has any suggestions for other things I can do to help her through this, I would greatly appreciate it. I suggest tell her to stop talking to her ex and move on. She's married. Like, be like, hello, I'm your husband. I'm standing right here. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. It's weird that she's talking to her ex in the first place, so... And be like, isn't he an ex for a reason? Why do you even care what he has going on? It's kind of weird. He put an update here. I wanted to provide an update along with some clarification of some comments I am seeing. To start, we had multiple discussions about her feelings and why she reacted as she did. Based on everything we discussed, it sounds like she relived the trauma that she had experienced when her ex cheated on her. She has him blocked on everything with the understanding that if contact continues, I am not sticking around to play second fiddle. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why the heck are you even talking to him? And he cheated on you, but you still talking to him? Like, yeah, you're gonna keep reliving the trauma because like you keep opening up that box. Like move on. You already remarried. Keep it pushing. But as to back to his update, as to why communication was left open, I still do not know. That's what we try to figure out too. Over the past 9 years, she has mentioned 3 times he has reached out. We know each other's phone passwords, and she allowed me to look through everything. It really seemed like every time he hit a major life event, he felt the need to tell her. I still do not like it, but I want to trust her. I'm pushing for counseling or therapy to help resolve these issues, which I feel could be related to PTSD or some other unresolved trauma. She had a very hard life growing up, so I know there are a lot of things that therapy could help with. That's understanding, but as a new husband, the new hubby, I definitely say like that dude should have been blocked a long time ago, especially if she doesn't have any kids with him or anything like that. There's no reason you should be talking to your ex and you're remarried. It's weird. Thank you for all the responses. Getting outside perspectives and advice is very helpful. And for the person saying this is rage bait, it was not intended to be. I'm just stating what happened. I'm leaving this post up for now in case it can help someone else, but I would not be responding to any more comments at this time. If things change, I know where to go to get an unbiased opinion. Yeah. I would tell her like stop talking to your ex. It's one thing if like they were just dating and like she ghosted him. And me personally, I have done. I've definitely ghosted guys, and you know, later down the line they might hit me up to like be like, "Hey, what's up? What happened?" And like I'll explain what happened, but it's like, "Yeah, bro, I moved on. I'm not gonna keep talking to you. Like that's the end of it." It's kind of weird to like keep having conversations with your ex. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Do y'all talk to y'all exes? Let me know in the chat, in the comments. I'm so used to being live. On to our next story, y'all. Here's another spicy one for us. This is from relationship advice. I, 34 male, want to break up with my girlfriend, 29 female, over something I'm not supposed to know. How can I do this? I started dating again 7 months ago because I felt I was healed from past relationship trauma that occurred back in 2023. This woman was everything I asked for, and I love being around her. She tells me that she loves me and we're planning on moving in together. She tells me she wants kids soon. We both have great careers. Everything seemed perfect. Fast forward, last week my anxiety building up and getting uncomfortable, intuition with her noticing, not using her phone around me like social media, scrolling, etc., and putting it under her pillow when she was sleeping. That's a big red flag. What the heck? I tried telling her in a jokingly way and got told, this sounds like projection. I love you. Why would you think... Hold on. She said, this sounds like projection. I love you. Why would I do everything for you? I never done this, that, the other for any guy ever. I'm not your ex. So, I'm sorry, the way this is worded is crazy, but so I apologize and still couldn't help the feeling at the bottom of my stomach. I went against everything I believe in a relationship and went through her phone while she slept. I know a piece of poop, and I found out she was sending sexy pictures to her coworker, and a few months into our relationship, she was having intercourse with him apparently. They were friends with benefits. My heart almost pounded through my chest, and I closed everything and laid there till morning. She's at work and I called off feeling sick. She had a school exam this week that will get her a promotion, and her birthday is on Saturday. I want to break up with her after her birthday not to ruin her week or put her in a weird state of mind for her test. I need to just tell her I'm going to listen to my gut feeling and walking away as I'm not healed enough. I think I'm not mature enough for all her friends being guys. Big red flag too. I know I'm not going to get thrown projection. Hold on. I know I'm going to get thrown projection, this, that, and the other. The crying, swearing is nothing. And even offer to show her. And even offer to show her the phone that she will obviously filter through being shown. The way he wrote this is terrible. I'm sorry. Being shown me and I'm weak when she's in front of me. I can't tell her what I did. Absolutely not. Please help. Yeah, I could tell bro was going through it just even by the way he wrote this, but that's you gotta break up with her. One, she's cheating on you. Two, she's hiding it. It's just you gotta break up with her. It sucks. Now I do feel for him, and that's pretty nice of him. He is a good guy because he even still cares about her. Because he's like, hey, I don't want her to be going through it. He still wants her to be able to try to get through her test so that she could get a promotion and have a good birthday. Like, this is a good guy. It sucks that he's being done dirty. So that sucks. But honestly, I feel like he's torturing himself holding on to it though, and just nah. I mean, she cheated on you, everything. I know he's trying to be a good guy, but not ruin all that. Ruin her test, ruin her birthday. Be petty, be toxic at this point. Jeez, that's crazy. Let me know what y'all think about that one. That's insane. This one's from Truth Off My Chest. They're still together. It's been years, but they still won't leave me alone. I walked away from a toxic, cheating ex years ago. His girlfriend, the one he cheated with, still stalks me on social media and messaged me recently acting like I'm the problem now. My ex also still views my stories and accidentally liked an old post. We're not even following each other. I blocked them both again because I just want to have peace after all this time. I've been single for 7 years. My last relationship was chaotic and betrayal was the final straw. We were together for 3 years. The first year was calm and steady, but things started going downhill in the second and third. That's when I began hearing rumors from friends that he was cheating. Every time I confronted him, he denied everything and came up with excuses. I was the idiot, madly deep in love. I kept choosing to believe him even though deep inside I knew those rumors weren't rumors. They were facts. I defended him to my friends, even fought with them about it. Looking back, I wish I had listened. The last 2 years were toxic and I allowed it. I had no peace of mind whenever he was out with his friends. I couldn't join because I was living in the province, recovering from a sickness and dealing with asthma. 3 days after my 22nd birthday, the girl I suspected all along messaged me and told me everything. And though none of it surprised me, I'd finally had enough. I was tired of fighting for him, for the relationship, for something I thought was worth saving. That same day, I walked away. No explanations, no closure. Her message was enough. 3 weeks later, she posted him on Instagram officially. It shattered me. I never knew pain could feel that extreme. It was traumatic. I had never introduced anyone to my parents before because I only wanted to bring someone home if I was sure. But he introduced himself. He got close to my mom. Maybe that's why I held on so long. After the breakup, he still messaged me from time to time saying he missed me, still cared. His girlfriend stalked me on social media. Eventually, I blocked them both just to move on. Then came the pandemic. I lost friends and family and thought maybe it was time to forgive and forget, so I unblocked them. Big mistake. But literally a day later, she sent me a friend request and followed me on Twitter. I ignored it, but she kept trying. Eventually, I gave in and accepted, thinking I'd move on and wouldn't be affected anymore. Truth is, that relationship left scars. I developed the fear of getting into another one. I've stayed away from dating. Some guys have shown real interest, but I never entertained them. Not because I'm not over my ex, but because I've been trying to become the best version of myself first. Still, I struggled. I developed insecurities. I felt like I deserved to be cheated on. Dang, that sucks. I started dealing with trust issues, insomnia, and even sleep paralysis. I've talked to my therapist about it. She suggested I try to speak with my ex to maybe finally get closure and break this cycle of sleeplessness. But I said no. Out of respect for his partner, especially now that they have a daughter. Then just last month, out of nowhere, she messaged me again. These people don't let up. She apologized for reaching out and said it was because of her postpartum emotions. I tried to understand, I really did, but what hurt and annoyed me the most was the tone, like I was the one causing problems. As if I was a third party now. Coming from her, seriously? That was wild to me. I told her politely that I wasn't talking to him and there was nothing going on. The conversation ended fine. But I couldn't shake the feeling. It felt unfair. Like I was being painted as a threat when all I've ever done was walk away and try to heal. Just last week, I noticed my ex viewed my Instagram stories. He He even accidentally, like the photo I posted a year ago. We're not even following each other anymore. Like, what? Why? It's been years. They're still together. Why can't they leave me alone? Why are they still watching me? Why do I feel like I'm being checked on? I blocked them again because at this point, all I want is peace of mind. Yeah, that is insane. I would definitely keep those people blocked because they obviously don't have a life. To cheat on your girlfriend and then stay with the girl that you cheated on her with, have a baby with her, but you're still like stalking your ex-girlfriend, it doesn't make sense. Like, why don't y'all have a life? But I think it's probably guilt. They probably feel guilty for what they did, and that's why they keep talking to her. On to our next story. Am I the a-hole for skipping my brother's wedding because I wasn't invited to the engagement party? I, 28 male, have a twin brother. Growing up, we were inseparable, and until recently, I thought we were still very close. I was always more of a shy nerd, and he was an extrovert that played sports throughout our childhood and high school, but we spent almost all of our time together by choice. We went our separate ways when college came. He stayed local in Arizona, and I went to college in Portland. When I graduated, I stayed there because I fell in love with the city. My friends are here, and my professional networks from internships were here, etc. But I always flew back home for holidays, events, birthdays, etc. My brother announced on Instagram that he and his girlfriend of 3 years got engaged. I was incredibly happy for him and texted him congrats. He mentioned they were planning to have an engagement party in 6 to 8 weeks, and I told him to let me know so I can book a flight to come celebrate. I was never told a date. If I ever brought it up with him or anyone in the family, they changed the subject or say it's still being planned and confirmed. After a few weeks, I texted my brother to ask about the date because it must be getting close and I don't want to pay for a last minute flight. No response. I asked my mom for details and she said, it's not really an engagement party, just a small dinner with family. There's no need to come down for it. I eventually found out that it was, in fact, a big party. They rented out an entire restaurant for 4 hours and there were about 80 guests. Family, friends, cousins, everyone. Everyone was told I couldn't make it. My aunt, who was like a second mother to me, texted me that she was very disappointed I couldn't make it in time to join. I replied that I would happily come, but I was not invited. Word spread quickly about my snub, and my parents and brother tried to say it was just a misunderstanding. How is it a misunderstanding to not invite your twin brother to your wedding? That's crazy. Back to our story. That was almost a year ago. Since then, I've tried to get to the bottom of why I wasn't invited. Over the course of months, it went from it was just meant to be a small gathering to I don't know what happened. There must have been a miscommunication to it's just a party, it's no big deal. I asked my brother if he was mad at me. I thought maybe his fiance didn't like me, even if she or he didn't want me there. Why were my parents okay with this? This really wasn't like them. Christmas and Easter came. It was awkward as heck because no one but me wanted to address the elephant in the room, and any conversation about anything was like small talk with strangers. When I visited in May for my sister's birthday, I left early after my sister said, "You moved so far away, it's like you're not really family anymore. You make everything feel so weird now." That is so messed up. Jeez. 9 months ago, I got the save the date announcement, and 6 months ago, I got the invitation to the wedding. I wasn't asked to be in the wedding party, which is fine. It wasn't surprising at this point. My sister and younger brother were asked to be in the wedding party, so another snub. I also didn't get a +1 for my girlfriend I've been seeing for almost a year and a half. My sister, however, got a +1 for her FWB. What is a FWB? Friends with benefits. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow. I've been married for forever. All right. So I decided I wasn't welcome and I was probably only invited for optics and to play Happy Family. I didn't RSVP since I knew that would cause a poop show. So I have to change some of these words for YouTube. I just didn't go. The wedding was this past weekend. No one contacted me about missing the rehearsal dinner. So I guess even if I did go, I wasn't invited to that either or expected to be there. I started getting calls and texts about an hour before the ceremony asking where I was, if my flight was delayed, how far along I will be, etc. I ignored them. They stopped for a while during the ceremony but started up again right after. I finally picked up my mom's call and she screamed, "Where the heck are you?" I replied, "In Portland, where you all preferred me to be." She said, "This is your brother's wedding. How could you embarrass us?" I answered, "It's just a party. It's no big deal, right?" It was probably the first time in my life my mother was speechless. After a few seconds of silence, I said, "Tell everyone I said hi," and hung up. Now I'm getting calls and texts from everyone saying I was being petty and ruined their day. So am I the a-hole here? I feel like I'm just matching their energy and dropping the rope. Yeah, you're definitely not the a-hole here. That's kind of insane to move away and family will be like, yeah, we don't want you here. Like, that's messed up, especially if you visit so often. It is kind of weird for them to suddenly be like, yeah, we don't want you at your twin brother's wedding. That's insane. That's super weird. Definitely not the a-hole, in my opinion. Y'all let me know what you think. Here's our next one. This one's from Confession. I followed a guy home from the store and worry I'm mental. I, 20 female, did something very unusual today. I was at the store today around 12:30 p.m. when I saw a guy. He caught my attention, so I went down to get a better view of him while acting like I was just shopping. Okay, this is starting off. It sounds kind of cute. Let's continue. I found him very attractive but carried on my way. I seen him a few more times unintentionally. Then as I was leaving self-checkout, he was entering it. We made eye contact for a split second, but once I left the store, I wanted to see him again. So I stood outside on my phone. Once he left, I started walking to my car. I glanced over the other side of the parking lot and seen him get in his car. Once I left, so had he, but he was closer to the exit and I was 2 cars behind him on the queue to leave. In that moment, I decided I was going to follow him, and I have no idea why I decided this in the moment. I guess I just wanted to see if he was local or whatever. That is so weird to just follow a guy. That's so strange. He turned left onto the main road and immediately took the first left again onto the very first street right beside the store, confirming, yeah, he was very local. He was driving up that street and took a right turn. I then decided to do a U-turn and go home because I was confused and unsure why I was doing this. Also didn't want him to suspect anything. About 9 hours later at 9:30, I took a drive over to the street he turned right on, and after a few minutes, I found his car. I noted the house it was parked at and went home. I don't know why she wrote this, but I'm just read it. Went home, I used the standard real estate database, oh my goodness, which shows current and previous owners of a residence, and although he wasn't the owner, I managed to find him from the owner's Facebook, his mom. This girl is really stalking this man. I found out he's the exact same age as me, 20, and his uni, etc. She found his age, his university. This is all from Facebook, by the way, and Instagram. Honestly, I have no idea why I did this. It feels weird and doesn't feel like me, as I never done this before. Also, I have no bad intentions with any of this information. Again, this feels weird and strange to me. Am I crazy? Am I losing it? Yes. I think this girl is crazy. I think she is losing it. Just because you think a guy is cute, that does not mean go follow him home. Go search him up in a real estate database. Stalk his mom and him on Facebook. That's definitely not it. That's not what you do. That's kind of crazy, I will say. And like that's her starting arc of being a stalker. Like that's what that sounds like to me. This one's more lighthearted. I'm a 40-year-old man and Minecraft helped rebuild my family. I'm a mature man. I'm 40 years old, considered old for Minecraft. I started playing about 6 months ago. I spent a lot of time addicted to work and money and giving priority to personal, material, professional projects and other things that were not very relevant in life. One day younger people will understand what I'm saying, which left me increasingly separated from my children until one day I sat with one of them, the one in the middle, and in a split screen on the Xbox, and he introduced me to this game called Minecraft. I had already seen him play, and honestly I thought that cute little square, colorful world was a bit childish. Anyway, I allowed myself to spend time with him doing what he wanted and not what I wanted, playing. That's so funny. That's kind of how I got into Minecraft too, playing with my son. Well, watching him play. And I started playing, and the next day I played with him again. And I was surprised every day by the depth, complexity, and educational potential of the game. And the next day we also played until the next day I found myself in front of the console and spontaneously played alone. And with each new exploration, new journey, I became more and more fascinated by Minecraft. I bought it for my computer and continued to play it during work breaks. And in a short time, I found myself studying the game, watching tutorials, buying books, doing large-scale projects, studying architecture and engineering. I read about the 2-week cycle, and it's actually true. There's a 2-week cycle of the game, interspersed with more intense periods. It evolved to create a realm, and so I started playing with them online in my free time. He's saying some big words for me. Synchronously and asynchronously, but in the same world. And so we continue building, exploring, adventuring. Minecraft teaches you a lot: resource management, short, medium, and long-term planning, inventory management, organization of priorities. Possibilities are immense. My youngest son had ADHD, and all these organizational issues are a real challenge for him. And he has become my main adventure companion. Together we achieved progress in the game that they had never achieved before on their own. But the main progress was not in the game, but in life. The reconnection of a father with his children, the reconstruction of a family in crisis, the development of a stable, healthy, united family environment. Minecraft, when used correctly, is capable of teaching children about many things in life, everyday life. And in my case, it taught me much more than that and rebuilt a family. Here's my statement, and if by chance it touches an absent father in conflict with his family or a son who is feeling neglected, it doesn't hurt to try. The experience can surprise. That felt like a poem. I relate though. I relate for sure. My baby, he's pretty young and he loves games because he sees, me and his dad playing games, and we got him his own Xbox and he gets to play Minecraft and Fortnite and things like that. But he really does like Minecraft. He does die a lot in the game, but he just, he has a fun time. And it's nice to help him out in the game sometimes because he's still figuring out how to play. But it's a pretty fun game. I enjoy it, as you can tell. But hey, we're going to end off right here. I appreciate all of your support. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. God bless and stay safe out there.